And good morning. Let the Thursday morning ruckus begin, I guess. Today is February the 2nd, 2022. Thursday it is. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and this is things you might not have heard. And hopefully, these are some things that some of them you may have heard, but we'll give you a bit more perspective on them here, brought to you by the Conversation Project. Now, we're going to give you 8 stories, 8 headlines that you vetted as conversational based on some magic and some alchemy and a little bit of voodoo. Well, not really voodoo. We'll explain that after we get through the headlines, how you get a chance for this is. But these are stories that you said were worth talking about. And then I whittled down from a big batch to a little batch to even smaller batch based on how the narrative should go, how things should read out. So check this out. Check us out at thisisaconversationproject.com for more details about what we do at the Conversation Project. And wait till after headlines. We'll tell you exactly how you can get in on the game and telling us what to do. Tell me what to do every single weekday morning. Now, let's get into some of those headlines you saw from the teaser graphic. We're going to talk about mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is a big deal, and we'll explain what's actually going on, plus some other things, some of them bigger than others, some of them kind of silly, and a lot of TV things today. As we said, this is the conversationproject.com, our main website. Find out more about us. And of course, let's get into the stories, 8 stories that were vetted by you and curated by me this morning. Let's go to story number 1. Damar Hamlin attends Mass Singer taping, first public speaking appearance. This is the first time we've heard the voice of Damar Hamlin in real time and seen his face. So unless he was cloned like Avril Lavigne, and those theories are out there, Damar Hamlin is alive. Now, here's the deal with that. People believe the conspiracy theory that when Damar Hamlin was at the playoff game between Buffalo and the Bengals, Damar Hamlin was driven in a cart by himself with stuff over his head, so you kind of see him, and his family came in later. When you saw him in the booth from the game, it was snowing so hard you couldn't really see who was up there, and anybody could have been waving at you. People thought it was a Bobby double. People thought Damar Hamlin had actually died. He hasn't. Next story. Story number 2 for this morning is this one right here. South Carolina's Nikki Haley to launch 2024 presidential campaign, joining Trump in nominational hunt. Now, she has not quite said she's running for president. What she's doing is launching a committee to start all the stuff for this stuff. She spoke with Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, sure, if you feel like you need to do it, you need to do it. But remember, you said you weren't going to run against me. He said those words. Right now, very, very early in the process. In fact, President Biden has about the fact that he's probably going to run for reelection because it's a little early enough for this stuff. And of course, he's like 200 years old. Donald Trump put out the word very, very early so he can start some fundraising. And of course, he thinks that'll get him out of trouble because he's got a lot of legal things going on. Nikki Haley is getting in right now because, to be honest, if it weren't for Donald Trump just mucking up the waters with stuff, someone else needs to be the new blood for the Republican Party. And Nikki Haley, after sort of backing away from Trump, realizing no one was following that lead, went back with Trump, then realizing, hey, I still need to, I still want to be president. I'm Nikki. I'm Haley. I'm from South Carolina. I got this. So now she's going to be the second person, not Donald Trump, or the first person, not Donald Trump, but the second person in the Republican Party basically announcing they're running. Everyone's heading their badges on Ron DeSantis. We'll see if that actually happens because right now he's doing a good enough job mucking up Florida. I think he likes to muck Florida up completely. Let's go on to this one. Tom Brady announces his retirement for good this time, we believe. So he says. Now, most people believe that Tom Brady, after losing a marriage, his kids, and of course, all this super duper weight to be, get one last hurrah for it to fizzle out on him, think this is it for Tom Brady. Now, we had rumor last year when Tom Brady had retired that basically they had the Tony Romo thing set up for he was, they're going to put him in the booth. They had some analyst stuff. They were ready to put him out on TV for just being Tom Brady. And he wanted one more run in Tampa Bay. Could not convince his friend Gronk to do one more year. And of course, the season fizzled out on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Tom Brady says he had get one chance to do a big, long essay and flowery retirement. He did that last year. This time he's just saying, I'm done. We're done. Next moves will be told later, but we're done for good. Story next. Ozzy Osbourne also done for good. He's canceling his shows and he's saying his touring days are over. He is battling some serious illnesses and serious injuries. And as an old person himself, Him and Tom Brady have a lot in common. This guy, Ozzy Osbourne, wants to perform at top level. I'm not sure how much he needs some money as opposed to he kind of needs something to do. But what we're seeing right now is Ozzy calling it quits as well because he's just too old for this stuff. He got the Murtaugh thing, he's just basically telling Riggs, I'm too old for this BS. I need to go sit down. And when you know you're too old for it, usually that means you've gone too far. Tom Brady probably went a little too far, could have went out more on top if went last year. Ozzy Osbourne, I think he's always on top. Anytime he wants to go out there and play, he can play when he wants to. Touring, however, is taking a toll on him. Hellmann's Mayonnaise discontinued in SA, South America, due to inflationary import costs. Now, Hellmann's mayonnaise is one of the favorite mayonnaises of the nation here and around the world, and very big down south, being not, here in Arkansas or, in Texas or maybe Alabama, but down south like Brazil and Mexico and Guatemala. No longer putting Hellmann's on the shelves because it costs too much to import, because mayonnaise is made out of eggs. I think you can put the 2 and 2 together on that one. It costs too much to make mayonnaise, it costs too much to import mayonnaise in many of those countries who aren't doing so well. And so they're going to stop putting Hellmann's on the shelf as of right now due to the cost. What we get in its place, I guess they have a Kroger brand mayonnaise there as well. They'll just have to live with it, or there'll be a mayonnaise shortage. Trust me, there's shortages of other things here that are just sort of weird that you don't quite understand. But mayonnaise will be in hard demand, and of course, black market Hellmann's will be all over the place. Don't think about that cocaine or all that though. Fentanyl. It's all about black market Hellmann's mayonnaise. Actually, it's not. California sinkhole swallows third car in 2 weeks. One sinkhole, third car, 2 weeks. You would think if you fixed the sinkhole once, it'd be fine for a while, but apparently no. California roads are dealing with a whole lot of issues because California is having massive flooding. Believe it or not, California's in the middle of a drought and having massive flooding. So this extra snow in some places isn't helping as well. Something you see that is a byproduct of lots of rain is lots of erosion, especially erosion of unnatural buildups, things we build by hand, that just weren't there in the first place, that surprised us. So we have one road, one street, one sinkhole, if you will, who's on a quest to basically eat every car alive, knocking out its third vehicle in 2 weeks. Dr. Phil, and after 21 seismic changes in syndicated daytime talk show market continues. Long intro, but that's the deal. We teased this story yesterday and you guys made it happen. We'll explain in about 2 stories how we got to this point here. But Dr. Phil is no longer going to be on the air as of next year. 21 seasons actually does probably equate pretty close to 21 actual years. Like the Masked Singers had like 20 seasons, only been on the air for like 5 years. Survivor season 85, American Idol's at season 97, things like that. But Dr. Phil is wrapping up the show after 21 seasons. Originally created as sort of a weird sort of amalgam of magic and voodoo, actual magic and voodoo, from Oprah Winfrey. After Oprah had to go for a trial, hired Dr. Phil to be a trial specialist, helping pick a jury. Saw that he was a psychiatrist, maybe of some sort, and then put him on the TV to say things like, the crazy folks about crazy, the crazy, things like that. Brought in his wife, brought in his kids, made a whole bunch of money, did a bunch of things that didn't make any sense, made us aware of the Cash Me Out girl, stuff like that. He's going to be done. What's the bigger story on this is syndicated daytime TV, which basically doesn't exist anymore. We have a wash of daytime shows this season, which is weird. And essentially, when a daytime show gets canceled, someone else takes over the daytime show slot by that distributor, and they just keep it going, and because they have the slot sold. But we don't have the diversity, if you will, of things that people are watching. And it's not so many judge shows that are any good. They're just a bunch of bad judge shows. Not so many chat shows that are any good. Just a bunch of just random chat shows with random people who are kind of famous and kind of cute and kind of funny. But there's a bunch of them on there. There's nothing out there that's really keeping people awash and things. Dr. Phil after 21 years, has gotten a little old. He's got the kind of the Ozzy thing, trying to go out on top, if you will, with all of that going on. So Dr. Phil wrapping up his syndicated show, as a lot of the local networks are basically going to just back to reruns of TV shows because they're cheap, or just keeping their news people on the air all day long to talk about the weather, which is both informational and relatively cheap. And you get more work out of your local guys as well. Finally, this morning, the Blacklist will end with upcoming season 10 on NBC. Did you know the Blacklist was still on TV? I actually did not. I thought it was canceled 2 seasons ago. I watched a little bit of the first couple seasons, and then of course they had the changing of the guard, jumping the shark, characters changed. The Blacklist explodes. I thought was a spinoff, but maybe it was just another show. The Blacklist, very popular when it came out on its theory, and of course keeping James Spader in a job, because you got to keep him employed. Wrapping up after season 10, not going out on top of the other 3 people that we talked to wrap things up, being Dr. Phil and Tom Brady going off, sort of, realizing what happened. He stayed a little too long. Ozzy Osbourne realizing that he's been out there a bit too long. Blacklist, very long in the tooth, very much over at this point, in my humble opinion. Maybe you still love it, but it does get one more season to wrap up its a whole premise and give James Spader another year of pay, which, good thing. Love me some James Spader. Just Blacklist was a show that I fizzled out on long ago. So, let's do this. We did not edit very well, so oops, not that. Let's do this button. Producing on air, folks. Doing it live. Let's do this one right here. Didn't edit very well the slides today. Didn't check them today, so we didn't have time to fix it. But we did our best to get on time. That was the point for today. Blowing that up. What can we talk about tomorrow? Well, the NHL's ratings are down in the U.S., and hockey fans viciously explain why. The short answer is it's hard to find a hockey game on TV in U.S. via our cable system, which is trash, our streaming systems, which is trash, and our local regional systems, which are also trash. You want to talk about this tomorrow? This one's going to be kind of a stretch. I don't think we'll have a lot of people picking up on the NHL ratings, but if you make it in the range, we will do this. What does the range mean? Home on the range, the range stove. The range is the range of stories we choose from that you deem as conversational. We'll get about 30 to 33 stories within the span of 30 hours from midnight this morning to 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. That will stretch to that I'm going to post for you every 50 minutes in our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/this is a conversation and Twitter.com/th_conversation. So as those stories go around, you just check your feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and you engage, like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more you engage in a story, the more chance you get a chance to talk about it. Now, we don't just do the top stories per se. We take the top half of a day's story. So we'll take the top 15 stories of those 30 or so stories tomorrow, and we'll go from there and look at them, and we'll pick 8 stories that I like the best of the 15. They won't be necessarily in top order. In fact, we didn't go over the top story today. The top story today was about porn, because porn's always a top story. We didn't do that one today. But if you want to talk about this one or any story we post within the next day, go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. This is the conversationproject.com, and there's also a place to find links to the feeds and get in on those immediately. Now let's talk about money, sponsorship, and your money and our sponsorship. One of our main sponsors is Fundrise, and you can help us out by helping yourself out, diversifying, big word that I can't say this morning, your portfolio by going to thisisaconversationproject.com/fundrise. At Fundrise, you get a chance to invest in real estate in a brand new way. Well, not so brand new now. They've been doing it for a while, and you can do it now, just like you go to buy a mutual fund, just like you go to buy your stocks on your other platforms. It's an app that you just go, you put in some money, you pick the fund you like to go to, and you just watch your money grow. Hopefully. Now, last year, I was in this all of 2022, and I lost no money across the board. I did not gain as much money towards the end of the year as I gained in the beginning of the year, but I was new to this investing firm. I invested in Fundrise before I got before I became an affiliate, and I love it. I love them. They made me a good chunk of money to diversify my portfolio. The only thing in my portfolio that did not lose money in 2022. Market's off to a slower start this year, but now is a great time to get in on the action because one, they're going to give you 30 days of free investing. So no fees for the first 30 days. And two, they'll give you extra shares of whatever fund you get into right now. Check it out at this. It's a conversationproject.com/fundrise. As I said, affiliate link. So we do get a little piece of the action from this, but it's not going to cost you anything extra. It's going to make you feel a whole lot better about diversifying your portfolio, your holdings, and a quick way to get into real estate. If you don't want to go flip houses, do it this way. Once again, the Conversation Project lives at this. It's theconversationproject.com, our home, our website, the place where we store our stuff. And you can find more details about what we do. Many of the other programs we have, you get this program in many different forms. The sponsors page is there. Our partnership page, if we're giving you what you think is pretty good content, pretty good service here, maybe we can partner up and help keep things going on as well. And the most important thing is links to our TikTok. We want more people in the TikTok. So subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to our Twitter and Facebook, subscribe to our TikTok. That's what we want to grow this year. And just read up on what we do at the Conversation Project. This is theconversationproject.com. Now, time for the good stuff, the fun stuff, the today things you might not have heard. Starting off with, let's just get this out of the way right now. Groundhog Day is today. We'll get more on that in a moment, but today is Groundhog Day. We are eyeing the TV, watching live. Punxsutawney Phil usually does this thing right about now, so as I'm doing this live, so we may do breaking news as we get into the Groundhog Day history in a moment. But first, Ina Garten, the barefoot contessa, the chef with the mostest. That's not her slogan, but she's a pretty gosh darn good chef. She's all over TV right now. People love them some Ina Garten. 75 years old on the day. Brett Spiner, who is 74 years old today, of course, known as Lieutenant Data from Star Trek Next Generation and doing a bunch of other weird sort of sci-fi stuff. He hits 74 on the day. That one of those things makes your childhood kind of think, wow, my childhood was a long time ago. And Christie Brinkley, the Uptown Girl, is 69 years old today. If Brett Spiner didn't make you feel old, Christie Brinkley probably makes you feel pretty old on the day. Groundhog Day, February 2nd, which means one more thing you might not have heard. Today is Groundhog Day. You probably heard that already. Punxsutawney Phil began his weather forecasting in 1896 at Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, about 90 miles northeast of Pittsburgh. According to the Smithsonian Institute, 7 men from the town decided to climb a local hill called Gobbler's Knob to drink and eat groundhogs cooked on an open campfire. Yummy. They had such a good time, they decided to do it every year. The local newspaper called the group the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club and declared the community the weather capital of the world. So, just so you know, Groundhog Day happened because a bunch of guys decided on the 2nd of February to climb up the hill, get drunk, and eat groundhog. This is a pause for effect for all those people who are listening to the podcast. This is a pause for shock and effect. So just don't. It's not dead air. It's pause, and then all we can do at this point is wrap it up. Thursday, February the 2nd, 2023. Thank you so much for being a part of this show today. I'm sorry to ruin your Groundhog Day. You could also celebrate Crepe Day, or change your windshield wipers day, self-renewal day, or sled dog day. But it's Groundhog Day. We're waiting for Punxsutawney Phil to announce his stuff, so it won't be live breaking inside this thing, so we won't have that today, I guess. But we do have plenty of other great things for you on the day. I want you to stay hydrated. Didn't have a chance to go get my coffee this morning, running a little late. Stay limber and stay on task for all the grand things that you're going to do on Groundhog Day and every other day. Watch Groundhog Day today. It's, get the meta vision of watching Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day, or a Groundhog Day like movie if you kind of burned down on that one. And just be here tomorrow as we wrap up the week. This is going to be here as a big story around the country is winter weather. This is day 3 of a minor snow apocalypse here in Arkansas and a lot of the South as we're shut down for the city. We'll see how we last on this one going forward, and we'll see how you do going forward as well. Follow us on the feeds and just be gosh darn great today. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. Let's do this. Wrap it up for a grand finale on Friday.